Hello, 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 hello. It is the Abstractionist. I'm here for Uranus winter readings. And yeah, it's for people who have significant Uranus placements. Ooh. This chair. Okay. Significant Uranus placements in their chart. Likewise, you could have Aquarian placements. Because I read by planet and not by zodiac, yeah. So I'm using two decks. One is the Starman Tarot, the other is the Earth Magic Oracle. So ancestors, guides. The highest order of things coming through. Deliver the messages that need to be said. The messages be the highest order, insightful, impactful for all who need it. Dream time, okay, of course, interesting. Because this deck specifically, the Starman Tarot, I felt like is for dreams. So Ten of Wands, Justice, Ace of Cups, Dreamtime Creation, and let's see what else. What's the other one? New Beginnings. So the dreams that you may be having could have distinct parts, but it could also be dealing with the so I watch, okay, so like let's backtrack to my like personal life, right? Because you definitely want to hear about that. But I watch Paprika, and in the movie there's parts where like you think you're out of the dream, but then like you've entered a new phase of the dream. And so that may be happening to you in your dream space. So certain things could be being really overly emphasized. With the Princess of Cups, it could be of an emotional nature. So this is the Ten of Wands. So I keep seeing, that's where I'm seeing the emphasis like being re-emphasized all the time. And Princess of Cups, like an emotional nature. So in that movie, there is a guy and he's like a cop. I think he's a cop. And he keeps having these dreams, and he keeps getting to a certain point and then it stops, and he keeps having to do it over and over and over, and essentially it comes to a point of what he ends up realizing with this Dreamtime card being the first card coming out, and then me having to pull another card because I felt like this was just like what, and then Dawn New Beginnings. Essentially it's gonna play itself over and over and over until you get it right, you figure it out, or the dreams ultimately boil down to a new beginning, right? And it'll show up in various ways. It'll show up in various ways over and over and over again, but it'll mean the same thing, which is a new beginning. It'll show up in your dreams because on some level in your waking life, it's very, because these are two very different cards. One is very cluttered and the other is like very like clean. In your waking life, like things may be very clean and very sanitized, and you may keep it that way with this Justice card. Clean and sanitized and like even keel. But your dreams are like really eye-opening. They're very eye-opening and they're very emotive. And so in many ways you may have a very active dream space because you need to open up a lot more, and you don't necessarily feel safe to do so in your waking life. Like there may just be like barriers, right, to your waking life that prohibit you from living the way that you want to. In many ways, I think that you have a lot of perhaps repressed things, and because they're repressed, when they reflect back to you in your life, they reflect back in very subtle ways. For some reason, you may not be noticing them, and if you do notice it, you immediately, with this Justice card and 10 of Wands, think of it as a disturbance to your peace. The Princess of Cups being the emotional part, and so you kind of wipe it out. But what is a disturbance to your emotional peace is actually needed for you to get to the next level, recognizing that your emotional peace is disturbed by the lack of this thing in your life would do you well to like remember. The Seven of Swords, Judgment, and the Ace of Cups. So essentially in that movie, Princess of Swords at the bottom, in the movie Paprika, he had to like realize why he kept seeing the same dreams over and over and why they were so familiar. At one point I thought it was like, what is it, one of the movies where like you realize the character was dead the whole time. You know what movie it is. It's like it's not a spiritual movie, but it's a paranormal-ish kind of movie. It's well known. It has a really well known sentence, I guess, or tagline, or whatever you want to call it. With Seven of Swords, Judgment, and Ace of Cups, I think that some of this could be around anger. And the title that I wanted for this video is Your Peace is a Volcano. So it's kind of funny that a volcano did not come out here, but like I might still title that. So your peace is a volcano could mean that you need to release whatever pent up frustrations are occurring. And it's occurring because it's reoccurring in your dreams, which means it's probably occurring and reoccurring in your waking life. It's just looking different. And maybe with this Judgment, you're tired of having to try and recognize the many forms that it's coming up in, right? Because if it keeps changing with the Seven of Swords, it may feel like the previous message isn't true, and so you're trying to really, Ace of Cups, pinpoint it and have some sense of relief and be like, oh, I finally like solved it ultimately, right? Like this finite answer to this. But with the Seven of Swords, because you're having so many dreams about it and it's coming so many ways, you may be looking in so many areas to figure out what the fuck's happening, that like it becomes exhausting, because I am exhausted. I'm exhausted reading this. Like, never mind that I've done like 3 other readings, but like it's exhausting to try and find like the definite point, the definite meaning of something when like it keeps showing up differently in each time. And you also may not be someone who's really good at pinpointing an overall thematic thread amongst things, because it's very abstract and it's not concrete. It doesn't seem like there's concrete like tethers to each of these things, right? That it would be obvious that they all relate and that they all are a part of the same like family. They're all a part of the same root problem or root cause that you're having, that you're trying to work through. They each are looking kind of different, and you're kind of getting frustrated because there's no, like I said, definite answer to all of them. But there is one, but it's just, I don't think you've recognized just yet that the definite answer just has many forms, and it's trying to use many ways to communicate with you what it is. I think you have a very static mind as opposed to dynamic, as it revolves around problems and your own life. Six of Cups, Ace of Wands, King of Pentacles, once you get it, you'll be able to put more thought into it. I think mentally you may be blocked right now because you are trying to figure it out, but I think once you figure it out, you'll be able to approach it a lot more pragmatically. And the King of Pentacles isn't really pragmatism, so that wasn't really what I wanted to say, but you'll be able to approach it with a lot more ideas about it, and you'll be able to, with your life experience, see the accumulation of experiences that once you see this, obviously would show up in your dreams in multiple ways. So what I mean by that is it keeps showing up in your dreams multiple ways because it keeps showing up in your life multiple ways, and you're looking with this King of Pentacles energy as with an idea that is going to be definitely one thing. But what'll happen is once you figure out the common theme of it, which is a more abstract being, and the idea behind it is new beginnings, dawn, you'll start to realize the many forms that it has taken in your life, which are concrete examples. And so that's where the concreteness comes from. The concrete examples of your life will then reveal the overall abstract interpretation that is happening. But because you realize that, all of the concrete examples become evidence, and they become the path forward. And so you'll be able to solve it. It has a lot to do with the Six of Cups of your past experiences. You'll kind of kick yourself for not getting it sooner or not understanding it sooner, but it is what it is. So don't kick yourself too much. It could result in a book or a manual, or you giving a speech, or you talking about something. It could result with this being like an art gallery, some sort of artwork, some sort of piece that is of your mind, that is going to be represented more abstractly. But I think overall it's about new beginnings, and you just haven't realized the ways in which this dream is coming up over and over and over again about new beginnings. You'll see a lot about false starts also, like false starts with the Ace of Wands. You'll see a lot of that in your dreams and stuff like that, and so you'll start to identify that a little bit more, and it'll be corrective with this King of Pentacles there. You'll note it and you'll correct it, and so gradually your dreams will start to clean up a little bit, and they perhaps will no longer bleed together as much. There'll be concrete beginnings and endings to your dreams, like in a more experiential explanation or description, as in like you'll complete a dream and then the next night you'll have another dream. But you'll be able to see that they all fall under the same theme, and you won't have this issue again until there's like another level of King of Pentacles that you have to achieve. And so you also may be able to hop into those spaces on a quantum level for some reason, I'm seeing, as a way of retrieving something. Now there could be something with this Ace of Wands that's represented as like a physical object that you have to find in your dream, and it's like having that going forward in your dream space will be helpful. It's like a helpful tool. And so it's not a physical item that you have with you, like it's not like your book or a keychain or something like that. It's something that is in your dream, that's really helpful, is a helpful tool in your dream. I don't know if you know what it is, but yeah. But that's what's happening. So you'll need it in future dreams. So if like you have a dream and you're in a lake and you're you know drowning, and then you realize why you're drowning, there may be like, I don't know, a fish that comes to you and you're like, oh, you're my magic fish. That fish will prove to be helpful in other, it's almost like in your dream space you'll meet a guide, like a, that's not a space guide, a guide that'll be there in future dreams to help you through stuff. But you gotta like find this spirit guide because they reside in your dreams. Interesting. They reside in your dreams, and which means they reside in your subconscious, which ultimately means they're an aspect of yourself that you have yet to meet or accept, or find significant. And so once you do that, they'll subsequently be helping you through other things. And so it could be just an aspect of self being represented by a spirit guide that will then help you in other levels of transformation. And so yeah, thank you for watching, Uranus. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found it insightful, impactful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.